Hey there, and let me start with a confession. So, a few days back, I had created this entire series of versatile fragrances, and you know that it's a three-part series of fragrances. And I missed out one fragrance in that particular list. Okay, now it actually happened that I had put up one of the inspired versions of that particular fragrance in the list two, okay, which is supposed to be part two. But then when I was recording the video or prior to that, I made some change to that list, and then somehow that fragrance was supposed to go on to the part 3 part, and then it completely skipped in that list altogether, right? Having said that, last week when I was traveling, and whenever I travel, this is one fragrance that's always with me. Okay, this is one of the fragrances that I always carry in all of my travels per se, and I'll tell you why I do that as well. So somehow because of that, I felt I should definitely talk about this particular fragrance, and I realized that of all the 30 fragrances in that versatile fragrance list, this is my still go-to fragrance, even though I have another fragrance which I actually like a lot, but this is the one that I actually reach out more than that fragrance altogether. And I'm actually talking about the Deer Swatch. Okay, this is the one that I'm talking about, and the alternate that I wanted to include in that list was the Modest Eunuch. But today we're going to talk about this and tell you why this is the one fragrance that I always carry with me for all my travel, and I'll tell you what it actually means to me to carry this, and why I think it's a fantastic fragrance. When you think about all of the designer fragrances that are out there, why you should consider having this as one of the stable fragrances in your collection, right? You're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going in this video, and I'll talk to you about why I like the Deer Swatch as my favorite travel companion. All right, welcome back. So today is a Friday, and my scent of the day today is this beauty, the interlude from Umwatch. Okay, now 2 years back when I was reviewing fragrances, I could not afford any designer fragrances as such. In fact, decants is what that I used to always carry. Even then, a very small amount of decants. Time progresses, time heals, time makes everything better. And today I have some favorite fragrances of mine which I've always wanted to own as designer. Definitely one of them is the 1 million Parfum. This is a fantastic fragrance that is always there. I also like the Gentleman Givenchy Reserve Privé as one of the nicer fragrances as well. But the ones who's been following me for some time do know that my one designer fragrance that I've had for a couple of years has been the Bleu de Chanel Parfum for a right number of reasons, and I absolutely love this scent. And in fact, I've stated that this is probably the greatest of all time designer fragrances. Probably in that list it could be there. This is my absolute favorite fragrance, but I don't carry the Bleu de Chanel so much in any of my travels. But I always carry the Deer Swatch a decant. I had a 20 ml decant that I used to always carry with me. This was not my favorite scent for a long time. I would never actually, I reviewed it, I looked at inspirations for it and all of that, but this was not my most favorite fragrance per se. But over the last 2 years, this has grown on me so much that like I said earlier, that I always carry it in all of my travels. Okay. Now, the reason for that is I am as a profession, I am a functional trainer. So sometimes I visit the customers on site at their locations to train them. So what also happens is that I interact with a lot of people. The weather conditions to where I have been, the Africas, the Middle East, or even Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, all of these places, there is a lot of humidity, there's a lot of heat, different culture people, some like a lot of loud fragrances, some don't like fragrances. But when you are, going to be with them for 7 to 10 days time, and you're going to be the one person who's in that room all the time, you want a fragrance that's mostly very safe to wear, and something that can perform throughout, get you compliments, and yet be very appealing at the same time, right? Now, for all of those reasons, I think the Deer Swatch is an absolutely fantastic fragrance, especially the EDT. Now, the decant that I've had for the last 2 years time, that actually used to give me about 6-7 hours of performance easily. Okay, so recently I switched across to the bottle, and one of the reasons why I like this fragrance is because of the way it kind of smells, right? So this is a very fresh kind of a fragrance. This is fresh. This is spicy. It has a light amount of sweetness. So if you think about the kind of spicy element, it has a lot of fresh citruses. It has a lot of spicier, peppery elements. But then it also has a lot of spicier accords in terms of florals like geranium. It has then woody nuances like the cedar. It has a lot of ambroxan. It has a lot of patchouli and vetiver as well, making it one of the most beautiful smelling fresh fragrances out there that can appeal to anybody. And it actually, is very soothing in any environment. It actually performs well as well. Now, what actually happened to my decant and why I switched over to this is because last week when I was in Egypt, one of the days I wore this fragrance and this taxi driver picked me up. And the moment I got into the car, he actually loved the scent. He actually complimented me and saying, what are you wearing? It smells really, really nice. Now, surprisingly, I had worn that about 4 or 5 hours prior to me getting into the cab. So he was able to smell it even then, and I told him it was Dear Sauvage. So the next day, I went to the pyramids and he was the one who picked me up. And the first thing that he did when I got into the car, surprisingly, I wore the same fragrance that day as well, in the hot sun as well, is that he asked me for the decant bottle by, saying that, please give it to me. This smells really, really good. It's a small bottle that you have. So, well, what's more than a compliment when somebody actually asks you for a fragrance? So I kind of, went ahead and gave that to him, and he absolutely loved it. He wore it, and I also had been wearing this. So I did my entire the pyramid tour in the hot sun for about 3-4 hours time. Even when I got back after that, almost after a whole 5-6 hour tour, I could still smell the fragrance on me. So surprisingly, a lot of people actually complain saying the EDT Dear Sauvage does not actually perform, but I've always got fantastic performance on it. Absolutely, really a good fragrance per se. Okay. Now, coming to the scent profile. So yes, it is citrusy, sweet. It has a lot of spicier element. It has a lot of woodier nuances to it, and all of this makes it very beautiful. And it actually has a very uplifting personality as well. Could be that one scent that you can actually wear for officers. You can wear it for gym, you could wear it for date nights, you could actually wear it almost to all of those places, and you will actually kind of, be in a very safe zone per se, and it actually kind of smells really, really nice. Now, if you are looking to get this is now, I think, in the price bracket at about, I think, 10,000-11,000 rupees roughly. Good alternatives of this are available in the market. Of course, this has been one of the long-standing fragrances, and I think there's a good divide between this and the Bleu de Chanel and the YSL Y EDP as the most worn or office-friendly fragrances per se, right? Now, if you're looking for a good alternative of this, the ones that I could think about is, of course, the Modest Union from Afnan. It's a very beautiful take on the same DNA. The only element there, I feel, is the woodier nuances of the cedar wood is a lot more. So it's a little more creamy, little more woody in Afnan's case, which is all the time that I think of almost all wood, Afnan fragrances are that way. Then, of course, there's a very good alternative, which is the Ardal Zafran, which is the 110 ml that you can get for very, very pocket-friendly fragrance. Beast mode performance, but it's a little sharp on the edges. So you do get a good lavender vibe, you do get a good, aromatic vibes, citrusy vibe, very good fragrance, but a little sharp, so to say, not the most smoothest fragrance out there. Of course, my recent find that I been talking about, which is the Ibrax Chasing Wave. This is actually a very, very good alternative of the Dear Sauvage as well, and it actually performs really, really nice. So, coming to the most basic summary that I want to talk about is, if you are looking to get, or if you want to begin getting into a designer fragrance, and if you want to think about getting a couple of fragrances as your versatile go-to, friendly, good smelling, beautiful smelling, and really value for money, then Dear Sauvage should be one in that particular list, because it really makes it for very nice. Now, between the EDT and the EDP, I do like the EDT a lot, because like I said earlier, it kind of performs well on my skin, and whenever I've worn it, I've easily got about 5-6 hours of performance, about 2 to 2.5 feet of projection. Overall, I feel this is a very, very beautiful scent to have, right? So, if there are other fragrances that I also carry in my travel kit per se. Let's say, for example, if I do carry something like Havas as well, or something like a vetiver rich fragrance as well. In some cases I do, or something that I'm testing. But having said all of those fragrances, if there is one foolproof, fail-proof office scent that everybody loves and will give you a lot of compliments, is definitely the Dear Swatch. And in my opinion, humble opinion, I really think if you should explore getting at least a decant of it, so that you can use the scent whenever you go out for those special occasions, special meetings, client meetings, or board meetings, anything of that sort. You will absolutely enjoy it. So that's what I thought about the Dear Swatch and why I kind of like it a lot. And if there are other fragrances that you'd like me to review, let me know and I'll be happy to do it. I'll see you in another video. Until another time, take care. Bye bye.